Hey folks, see Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to a very amazing topic today. We are taking this topic after a long time. We have talked about cryptos, we have talked about NFTs on our channel, but everyone is absolutely aware of the fact about how these digital assets have fared in the last few months. There was a time frame when everything was going down, be it equities, be it mutual fund investments, or be it gold. Almost every other asset class was seeing some sort of pain. Gold, we did see a recovery in the last 1 month almost, and in equities right now it's more of sideways trend. But there is one investment avenue which still I'm sure many of you want to know about, and would want to get some expert views as well. So I thought that instead of me talking about it, I thought I should request someone else who has amazing knowledge in this space, who has worked day in and day out in this specific field. And when I request him to come on screen, you might find his face familiar as well, because we did have a live stream with him. I don't remember how many months ago, but somewhere around, I guess, 8 to 10 months ago. So let me warmly extend a warm welcome to Ram. How are you, Ram? How are you doing?
Hi Rachana, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So Ram, what I feel is everyone is super excited. So let's directly jump into the discussion. What say?
I'm ready. Please go ahead.
Perfect. So what I feel, because when I was introduced to this crypto space, and I'm sure like everyone else, I remember the very first time I heard about cryptos and NFTs and everything. That was somewhere around 2018.
Hmm.
And after that, 2019, 2021, it has been like an amazing journey, and many people started feeling that, this seems to be a fun space to be in. But then we know what happened here. And
Hmm.
when it was about NFTs as well, there was a time frame when if you buy any NFT,
Hmm.
almost, I should say, not every NFT, but a person could get an exit at a higher end, is what we have seen in the absolute bull run. But what I personally feel, please correct me if I'm wrong, okay?
Sure.
So
Sure.
what I thought, that in this last bull run many NFTs came up, but most of them, or many of them, I can say, have become irrelevant today, or they got wiped out in this bear market. So if any person who wants to invest, I always say a party fund amount. uh, are you aware about my term of party fund, Ram?
Yeah, I'm here about it.
So it's only that much money which you are okay to spend over a party. You should not invest a lot of money in this space, right? So if anyone were to decide to invest a party fund amount in any NFT project, what are the points that he or she should consider before investing in this space?
No, absolutely. Thanks for the introduction and also the warm welcome. To answer your first question, right? Yes, bull run had a great impact, but if you take a look at it, the impact was directly on crypto trading, right? Majorly on cryptocurrencies. It had a passive impact on NFTs because people who made money using cryptocurrencies trading and all that, they were able to spend that money on NFTs, right? They looked NFTs as sort of like a long-term investment, and crypto is more of an everyday volatile trading, right?
Mhm.
And so the downfall of the bull run, right? When the bear market started happening, as you know, many reasons for that, and also this happens every 4 year with crypto. After the downfall of the bear market started, people, I believe there was a direct impact on crypto. On
Mhm.
NFTs, there was two factors. One, yes, people do not have that spare income, or as you call the party fund, to go ahead and invest into NFTs. Another reason is probably because the projects didn't have proper utility, right? So when you invest into NFTs, people got it into because there was a lot of hype, right? Everyone was talking about NFTs. All of a sudden, every other brand that we know got into NFTs. So there was a lot of hype, and that was the reason people invest into it. And
Mhm.
people who launched it in hype didn't want to kind of continue with that, right? They didn't bring proper use cases to these NFT projects. So that,
Correct.
I would say, is a much larger reason why NFT projects did not do well. And if you
Hmm.
take a look at our own example, right, with Meta Cricket League that we
Yeah.
launched last year. In fact, we spoke about it last year or so. So that particular project, we made sure, because we understood the market is going through a shift. We understood that NFTs are going to change. We made sure that it is fully about utilities. There is no hype around it. We didn't have any kind of IPs. Like we were very hellbound on bringing no IPs to this project because we wanted to be for the community and bring in only on utilities, and we didn't bring in any kind of celebrity value or anything like that. So it was purely driven on one sole reason that you can go ahead, buy this NFT, utilize it in the game, play with that
Mhm.
NFT, put in your effort, time and effort, and then go ahead and monetize it once that NFT appreciates in value because you've made sure that the NFT skill set improves, right? So you buy an NFT at a rookie level one, you play with it, and then it becomes sort of like a level three, and then you can resell it. So our
Yes.
intention was that, to let people go ahead and utilize that NFT. So again,
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons. If you take a look at it, Meta Cricket League has gone through the grind, has made sure that it's a project where people are very happy about. If you go and talk to our community, where most of the people that are there, they've understood that this project is going to stay for a longer time, and they've made that money over a longer period as well. So that's very important. You need to understand NFTs is a technology, and what you do with it, what kind of use cases you bring with that is very important. And anyone who's, as to your second question, right, as anyone who would invest into NFTs,
Mhm.
as you should invest based on your knowledge, like any
Mhm.
asset class for that matter, even stocks, gold, crypto. You need to understand the project, right? You need to understand what it's about, what's the asset class about. What's the first, you need to evaluate yourself, what's the risk I can take, right? So if you're able
Mhm.
to analyze that and then figure out what kind of asset class you're investing into, what is the risk involved in that, and then if it's a project, what's the project about, what's the roadmap, who are the people that are behind it, and what are they going to probably launch it with it. And like, if I'm going to be part of this project, would I be using this NFT probably in some shape or form? If I'm not going to use this NFT, would I be probably able to rent it to someone else, see it as a passive income? So these are
Mhm.
some factors you would probably need to look into an NFT project and then invest accordingly, right? Never
So,
invest or never
sorry.
invest in just because someone else is doing. So that's something that I would pass on.
So, like we talked about the Meta Cricket League right now. You're
Yeah.
coming up with one more game, right? From
Mhm.
cricket, it is into racing, is it?
Yeah. So the
So,
first game that we launched
yeah,
was in.
before you talk about that racing part, there are two questions that I want to ask. One is about if you could tell us more about the new game that you are coming up with, number one.
Sure.
And number two, you mentioned a point right now that if you can rent NFTs and earn some passive income. So,
Yeah.
what I would think of is owning some car, NFT car,
Yeah.
and giving it on rent. Is that possible? That is the second follow-up question.
So yeah, so we are launching a racing game. So this is probably about a year of work, right? Right when we launched Meta Cricket League, we've been working on this game as well. So this was a game that is around racing and an open metaverse that will be created across the game, right? So you'll be able to, like, think of GTA and NFS in a Web3 form. That's what we are doing. Cricket is a massive reach, but we made sure that the market also was made majorly from India and
Mhm.
countries that played cricket. But racing is sort of like a global game, right? Everyone has, in one point of time, played a racing game. So that was the reason we took this particular game. And then we've also wanted to go ahead and explore having a open metaverse. So once you play the game, and then you'll be able to also roam around freely and explore various experience centers that are there. And we're also interestingly bringing various brands on board for this game. So certain brands will have experience centers in and across the game, which will be going there and then accessing that, playing mini games within that experience center. So it will
Wow.
be a fun little game. And NFTs are your access to play the game, very similar to Meta Cricket League. And
Correct.
then there'll be digital lands that you can buy as NFTs as well.
Okay.
So we're gonna go have brands have these digital lands, and then the consumers can go ahead and buy them as well, and then they could rent it out and stuff. To answer your second question,
Mm-hmm.
yes, renting is possible. So you can buy a car. If you're not a person who's gonna race, right? I think last time also we had a similar conversation. You told me that you would not play cricket. So I
Yeah.
said you can probably give it your son and he can play. What you can do now is you can officially do that on my website. So you can go ahead and put it on rent, and someone else can go ahead and rent it from you, and they can play. And if they're able to bring in revenue or if they're able to retrade, you would have a passive income coming from that. Very similarly, you could also go ahead and buy these digital land parcels. You're not a brand, you're not going to be someone who's going to create an experience in the metaverse, but you can go ahead and rent it to another brand, or you can probably go ahead and rent it to someone else who might use it. And
Mhm.
then if they're able to generate revenue with that, and if they're able to go ahead and resell it, and we have various mechanisms through which you can make revenue. And when they
Mhm.
do that, you will have a passive revenue that flows back to you. So yes, so rental
Got it.
is part of the NFT ownership. Like
So
any
you got
asset that you own, right? You can go ahead and rent it very similarly.
got it. So, but then again, I have again a follow-up question for this. That assume that I decide I want to buy some car, so that I can give it on rent and get some passive income. Possibility number one, or possibility number two, like you said about the digital land, which I would
Yeah.
want to buy and again give it on rent.
Yeah.
I'm sure you might have a lot of NFTs. You might have a variety of cars, right? It won't be just one single car.
No, there are multiple categories of the cars,
Correct.
and
There's
based
category.
on based on how it looks, based on its performance, there's various categories.
Correct. So I, as an investor who wants to put in some small amount and maybe just try out how this, investing space looks like, how as an investor do I decide that which out of all these cars can be a good investment for me? So, for example, if I were to invest in shares, I typically check what is the revenue growth, what is the profit growth, what is the ROCE. We have certain parameters.
Yeah,
So if you can help me understand what all parameters should I look before investing in such type of NFTs?
sure. So, NFT, crypto, and all that is, as you know, is a growing market. So there is no like scientifically proven method or a mathematical method for you to actually figure out whether this is the right segment for you to invest in. But what can help is probably you can figure out what is the rarity of the NFTs, right? So NFTs usually, like in any kind of game, if you go and play a game, when you buy an in-game asset, you will have a rarity to that asset, right? Or there'll be only certain number of assets for that particular category. So all these NFTs that we launch have a rarity to it. So basically, let's say a car which has about, out of the 60,000 NFTs that we're launching, let's say around 10,000 would be on certain category, and about 3,000 would be on certain category, and then it kind of goes down as it progresses, right? So if you buy
Mm-hmm.
something which is on higher rarity, lesser in number, basically higher in rarity, and better skill set as well, then the possibilities of you probably holding on to it and selling at a much higher price later on in the secondary market is very high. And then there is, again, you could also figure out if you can buy something which is not highly rare but better in skill, which you can, if you're a gamer, you can play with it and potentially increase its value and then resell it. So that's how usually NFTs are categorized. And what we have done differently is that in this drop, you can't choose what kind of NFT you're going to buy. It's a
Oh,
blind
really?
purchase. Yeah, so it's going to be a loot box where you go ahead and buy it as a blind purchase. So you'll be paying the dollar that everyone's going to pay. You can probably get
How
some.
costly is going to that be? What is the price for that loot box you mentioned right now?
So it's loot box has two card NFTs, and each loot box is over $25,
Okay.
and everyone pays the same amount, and they can randomly get an NFT which is highly rare or an NFT which is not so rare. So it depends on your, the time that you're buying and the random allocation that is there. And
Okay.
then if you are lucky enough, you get something which is highly rare, and then you can probably resell it at a better price in the secondary trade or hold on to it and then figure out when to sell. So
So,
I think, and that has
I'm
worked
sorry,
out very well for
I'm
us.
asking a lot of questions, but as a viewer, I'm just trying to assess whatever your answers that you're giving me, right? So, like you said right now, that there'll be some rare NFTs and some will be like comparatively common NFTs. So,
Yeah.
if I were to buy the loot box, right, and you said like I'll get two cars NFTs, how will I understand whether the one I get is rare or it's a normal one?
That's where I told you our rarity tool was, right? So in the website itself, you will have sort of like a rarity tool which tells you how rare this NFT is.
Oh,
And
got it.
there is various tools out there as well, like DappRadar and all that, which are common tools, like how you see in stocks. There are common tools that are available which take our feed from our blockchain itself, and
Mhm.
they rank your NFTs based on rarity. So you can go to those websites, figure out which one is rare, and then you can resell it as well.
Got it. Got it. A very funny question, maybe I can say. But like in real life, we say that cars are like depreciating assets.
Yeah,
Over a over a value of time, the car's value is going to go down. How about
yeah,
NFTs? Will that also rule apply for NFTs?
yeah.
Depreciating assets? What?
You're not the first one to ask this question. Pretty much everyone I told about this topic asked the same question.
Yeah.
And I've been telling that, right? Don't buy physical cars, buy digital cars from us, right? So that's what I've been telling. The reason why is because physical cars, obviously, you can't utilize it after a point of time. But in a digital game, you could go ahead and use this car pretty much forever, right? And
Hmm.
then as you use the car, it kind of learns how you drive. The skill set of the asset improves, and then you'll be able to have a much better performed car than what you bought initially. And then you can go ahead and resell it at much higher prices because it's been performing well and the skill set has improved. So yeah, so that's one of the reasons why it appreciates in value in digital life.
Absolutely. So the point that we were mentioning right now about the loot box, the one that we said right now, is there
Mm.
any time? So, like for example, for an IPO, when say I'm of course going to my mind is going to compare it with whatever I know better, right? So for
Agreed.
IPO, there is a window that I can apply for the IPO from this date to that date.
Yeah,
So I understand. What was the word for that? You drop an NFT, right? That is the
yeah,
word you use.
yeah,
NFT drop. So,
yeah.
is there any specific time frame within which this drop happens, or how does it work?
Yeah, so there are two aspects to this. There is something called pre-book, like a pre-sale of any asset. So there's a pre-book that is happening on March 10th, which is in about next few days. So you
Okay.
can basically go ahead and pre-book an NFT, and you can basically choose how much of an NFT that you want to buy, and then
Okay.
you give it as a pre-booking. And once, probably in about 2 to 3 weeks time, we will let you know whether you have been allocated this NFT. So if there is only about 30,000 loot boxes that is there and only 500 digital land parcels, so we are sure that we're going to be oversubscribed, right? So if it's when it's oversubscribed, we will only allocate it to a certain number of people, and whatever that is remaining, then we will open it again during a drop. Our drop date happens on April 5th. So on April 5th, it'll be opening again, and there'll be certain number of NFTs that are available again that you can go ahead and buy it. So not everyone who's pre-booking will go ahead and give them NFTs. Only you probably, let's say you by pre-book 5, you might get 2 or 3. So it depends upon various factors that we analyze, whether you've been a long-term holder of our NFTs, you've been in the project for a long time, various other factors, and we allocate these NFTs for you during pre-booking. And then let's say you got 2 and you actually intended to buy 5. if
Hmm.
you if you go ahead to the drop that happens on April 5th and buy the remaining 3, and whenever the drop opens, as soon as you go, if it's available, you can go ahead and buy it.
So again, whenever I apply for any shares in an IPO, so let's say
Yeah.
I applied for three lots, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
and I was eventually allotted only one lot.
yeah. Very
Assume.
simple.
So I
Yeah,
get a refund of the balance too. So what
yeah.
happens here?
Same. Very similarly. So very similarly, you get, let's say you bought 3, and during the pre-book we've allocated only 1. For the
Mhm.
remaining 2, we give you refund for whatever the money that is paying. It goes back to the wallet, which is the
Okay.
wallet in our website, Jump.trade. And then later on, if you want, you can like withdraw it, or if you'd like to hold on to it, wait for the drop to go live on April 5th, and then spend that money to buy the remaining 2 that you wanted to buy. You can go ahead and do that.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Got
So
it.
pre-book
Okay.
is like a pre-IPO, and then the drop is the actual IPO that is happening, and then you go to the market and you buy the shares.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
But so now that we have talked a lot about this, just wanted to ask what made you you answered this question, right? That from cricket to cars is more global. Cricket is restricted to specific countries. But any other thought process why you thought of make? I mean, you can also correlate it with the response that maybe you might have
Yeah.
gotten from cricket, which made you think that okay, we should again come up with something.
Yeah. So car, as I told you, right? It's a global game. Number two is because it has, everyone in their childhood has either played a game which is more like Mario or something like that, or a car racing game, right? In any shape or form, like either in mobile or your video game or your PS or a PC console and all that.
Mm,
So, car racing is your go-to race that anyone would try, at
mm,
least myself, right? So, I've been a big car enthusiast. So, anyone that we spoke to, the next genre they recommended us to pick, and probably have quite good advisors on our team who've been gaming veterans, and every one of them recommended that you should launch a car racing game. And also, we spoke to a community, and they also were expecting something similar, and that's one of the reasons we are going ahead with this.
nice, nice, nice.
And the reception has been pretty great till now. People have been waiting for the pre-book to open, and I hope this one goes out well as well.
Wow, wow. So now that you talked about your community, anyone who is watching this live stream in our community, if you have any questions for Ram, you can just post it in the chat box. Whenever I'm done with my questions, first I'm going to ask whatever questions I have to, because I have still few two three questions. Ram, I hope you're okay answering two three more questions.
No, no, absolutely fine. I'm glad
Perfect.
to do.
So whatever questions, I'm going to take that liberty to be first to ask the questions. But if you have any questions about whatever we discussed till now about the NFTs or the digital lands that we spoke about right now, if you have any question regarding our discussion, please post it in the comment box. I think Ram would be the best person to answer your queries, right? So going back to digital lands, Ram, I think you said about $25 for the loot box.
Yeah.
Is the digital land a part of the loot box or it's separate? And if it is separate, what is the price of that?
So the loot box has only the car NFTs. You could buy only
Okay.
that. That's $25 for two car NFTs.
Mm,
And the digital land is a separate purchase. It's about $1,599. So about $1,600. It's because it's only 500, right? So and then it lets you have passive
Acha,
income and
just
stuff.
because it is 500, is that what makes it special or something else that makes it special?
So that's one of the reasons, because it's only 500. And what we are doing is basically there is only 50, 10 land parcels, each basically 10 circuits, and then 50 land parcels under each circuit, right? So it's 50 into 10 circuits, which gives you 500 different land parcels. So it's very restricted. Only few of them can get access to it, and we are tokenizing the entire game digital property, right?
Mm,
So you are basically holding a piece of the game yourself,
mm,
and the potential of that is large, right? Because this game, when it launches, as the users gets built up, you can go ahead and rent your property to someone else. You can go ahead, run your ads over there. You can create your own experience centers. You can start monetizing later on. So what
mm,
you can do with that property is the options are endless, right? So, but you're starting somewhere, right? This is a Genesis collection. So since you're being part of that, that is the reason it's costing around $1,599. And believe me, most of the people that I've spoken to, and when I've told them about this, like, if you're a brand, you can go ahead and run your ads and all that. They said we're actually selling it for a much cheaper cost, because you own it forever. Any ad that you actually pay for, right? There's a validity to it. This one has no validity because you're owning it, and then you can retake it if you don't want it. And
mm,
and then the audience that is there, and the possibility that a brand or a firm can be in Web3, right,
mm.
can bounce to the birth that they're getting into metaverse and Web3 is something which is much more pricier. And this I've heard from someone who is who's a veteran in the ad space. So I should thank her when I'm thinking about this. So yeah, so
Wow.
I don't. So basically, there are a lot of benefits to it. That's why the price, and also the rarity, as I told you, it's very rare and it's very limited in numbers.
Uh, a totally different question. Like I, as an individual investor, I can invest in this land, right?
Yeah,
But if I'm talking about a partnership firm or a company or an
yeah,
LLP,
yeah,
can they also, and assume that they have a brand, assume that they have a, a store which digitally
yeah.
sells,
Of course.
say, clothing or whatever,
Yeah.
can they buy the digital land and can they use that to advertise their products on their land?
Yeah, so of course, so we have brands that are buying these lands. So these I'm talking
Oh.
about billion-dollar brands out of India, FMCG brands, and all that who are buying these NFTs.
Mm,
So again, they're a firm, they're buying it, which we will announce soon. And I'm not able to tell now, but we'll hear about this announcement soon, probably in a week's time. So the brands are buying it because, as I told you, they want to run an ad over there, and they want to get into metaverse and reach out to this particular audience, which are going to be the next buying crowd. And
mhm,
yes, a firm can go ahead and buy it because it's a VDA, right? Like how crypto
True.
or an NFT, it's a VDA.
Mm.
And the government has clear regulations saying that even if you're an individual or a firm, as long as you pay the taxes, as long as you're regulated and you can go ahead and buy it, they're absolutely fine with it. So, yes. So, as anyone can, any company who will hold on to an asset, this is a digital asset that you buy and hold on to as well.
Got it. Got it. And like if any person were to decide that I have to buy a digital land. So like again, if I were to compare it with real life, what do I see that where is this land in which area? And then I would say that what sort of shape is the land having? Is it a perfect square shape, or I
Yeah.
say no, it's not that good shape. Whatever that determines the value of the land.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
does the same logic apply here for digital lands as well?
Yes, so very similar because think of it a replica of if you had gone to a, like, let's say Buddha International Circuit in Delhi, right? So if you gone there and there is an entire circuit and then you've seen pit stops around, you've seen podiums around and stuff. So think of that in a digital world. There are 10 different circuits and then there are various properties along the circuit that are monetizable that have experiences inside.
Mhm.
And one certain stuff will be in a certain corner, certain lands will be in around the lane. So all of that is built in. So a lot of things will be revealed after the NFT is dropped and the game is coming out, but it's very similar to your real world experience. And if you get to hold on to something which is at a corner where there is high viewership, then it's much valuable to you and stuff like that based on the plot you own and stuff. So yeah, all of that elements are built in.
Wow, super,
Yeah.
super. I think everyone is listening to this like a pravachan. Pravachan. I hope you understood. I hope you understand. So everyone is like maybe totally engaged. I asked if anyone has any questions. Everyone is just totally glued because I think this discussion is like superb. We are getting to. I'm getting to learn a lot for sure, Ram. Because we always try to correlate this with normal real world examples, and we try and see if we can get similar parallels in this NFT space. And
Yeah,
if that is so, then I can build on to some logic that yes, whether I should buy this or not, does it make sense to me or not? So
exactly.
whatever inputs you're giving is are definitely really valuable.
Exactly. No, I think that's where the NFTs would slowly progress onto with all that's happening around metaverse and meta and all that. See, I think I've been telling this to a lot of people. We have been getting into the digital world right when social media was launched, right? So
Yeah.
most of the celebrations that we do, conversation that we have like this is over a social media.
Yeah.
And more and more we get into the digital world, more reasons why digital assets make sense and why it should be valuable for us. So that is one of the reasons, right? As much as use cases that we can try to bring in the digital world where you are entertained and you're also able to make a living out of it or probably a passive income out of it. I think that's the best use case that we can bring in from NFTs and Web3 on a whole. So, and that's what we've been doing with Meta Cricket League and all the NFTs that we've launched with the brands and people that we've worked with. So, yeah, so I think this is an extended version of that. We're going a little more, and I think working hard towards making this a much bigger project, with launching this metaverse and all that. So, hoping this will turn out very good.
Definitely, definitely. I think if you know what you are solving for, if you know that this is something which may excite the viewers, I think that's definitely going to have a very positive response. Going back to your response that you might have got when you launched the Meta Cricket League,
Yeah,
at that time also you had that loot box concept, right?
yeah, very
And
similar
same
concept.
concept you have even today. I was told that there is something guaranteed, something what people are
Yeah,
going to get.
there is a
What is
guaranteed gift box that we are giving out. That's more on returning it back to the community because the community has been very supportive. So anyone who buys this loot box also gets a reward back, like how you've gotten rewards before. Very similarly, like you buy a loot box and we have a package of various rewards. Rewards include like goodies and crypto and all that, which you can basically claim after you bought the NFT.
Wow. Okay. But it is 100%. You are going to get that.
Guaranteed 100%. Yes. So
Nice,
there are
nice.
like randoms of hundreds of stuff that we're giving out, and then based on again like a loot box, if you buy a loot box, you'll also be randomly given a gift box as well.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
So, one question now. I mean, first cricket, then racing. What do you feel? What would be the future of Jump.trade? If you can, discuss a bit about that.
Future of Jump.trade is to become a gaming marketplace, onboard as much as games as possible from across the globe, and be a to the global audience, of course, and encourage more and more people to get into Web3 and NFTs. And we've seen almost every other big studio of around AAA games have got into NFTs right now. So there'll be a lot of games that will be launching in the next year or so.
Mhm.
So the potential of NFT and gaming is going to become much bigger, right? And we obviously would love to cater that, and we would love to bring it to our community as well. So we'll have more games that are getting onboarded to Jump.trade, and it'll have all these assets of the NFTs trading in a marketplace, and you'll also be able to access the game through a marketplace as well.
But the current game that we are talking about, the car racing game, it will be, we can actually play that, right?
You can actually play that. You can, so as I told you, think of it, a GTA or a NFS in Web3. You will be
Mhm.
able to race the car. You will be able to go into races, compete with people, and then once you're done with races, you can explore the metaverse and stuff. So all
But
of
we
that.
need some AR VR gadgets
No,
or no?
it's a mobile-based game, so you can actually
Oh,
play it on.
mobile game.
Yeah, so that's the point, right? You don't want to go ahead. Like I don't think in the next near future someone is going to wear a VR device and actually play a game. I don't think
Mhm.
that's going to happen ever. That's my thesis, right? I think you need to be much more hands-on in this kind of experience. So mobile is India and across the globe as well, right? Most of the world people have gone mobile first. 90% of the people that are probably watching these videos watching on a mobile phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you should go mobile first. So that's our intention, and that's the reason this particular game is mobile first as well.
But then you would have a separate app for that, or would a
What you do,
person just go to
separate app.
Jump.trade?
You can separate app that you can download from Jump.trade, and whatever NFT that you're buying, you'll be able to log in with the same login that you have in Jump.trade, and it
Oh,
automatically picks up the NFTs. We also want to have a PC version of this one, which lets you go ahead and explore the metaverse on a map level. On a high level, you'll be able to see various experience center that is there, and then you can experience that as well. So that is also in the mix.
wow. And this app is going to be available on both Android, iOS.
So it'll first come out in Android, and then it'll be released in iOS.
And I didn't get the name of the app. Sorry.
Raddx.
Raddx will be the name. If you can spell it for our viewers as well.
It's RADDX.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. I think I have asked a ton of questions. If you
Yeah.
want to add anything from your side, Ram.
Well, thanks for in inviting me to this. I think it was a great conversation. Last time I had this conversation, and then last 1 year has been very interesting with Meta Cricket League and Jump.trade. We've done a lot of stuff. We went ahead and partner with Twitter. We have a partnership with Flipkart that is going on. A couple of other brands that we have worked in the last year or so has been like Pepsi.
What is the partnership about Twitter or
So, so it's a very interesting partnership. So we were among top four marketplaces across the globe that was chosen to partner with Twitter.
Mhm.
So they launched a product called NFT Tweet Tiles. Tweet Tiles. Basically, what it lets you do is we can go ahead and showcase our NFTs in Twitter's newsfeed. And as a Twitter user, you can buy your NFTs directly from Twitter itself. You can buy and sell,
Oh,
and then you can rent out your NFTs as well. All of that happening through your Twitter account. You don't have to log into Jump.trade at all. So that was one of the partnership that we did. So, and we were probably the only marketplace out of Asia to do that also.
is that same going to apply for your latest car thing as well?
Yes, of course.
Super.
It
Sounds
applies for
interesting.
any NFT that is there in Jump.trade.
Amazing. Amazing. And how about the Flipkart thing?
So Flipkart, we provide their technology. So Flipkart has a launchpad. It's called Fire Drops. It's with our technology. So we are the ones who are powering it. And any NFT that is launched there, it's been done by us. Of course, Flipkart brings in the project, and we are the tech providers. And we also have an interesting partnership that we announced with Flipkart, which will be an added value with Jump.trade, which will be announced soon as well.
Amazing. Amazing. People, any questions? If you want to add up quickly, I'll wait for like next 30 seconds. If you want to ask any questions to Ram. And in the meanwhile, Ram, if you can just tell me if anyone wants to apply for the loot box, we just have to
Yeah.
go to. So if you can tell me the procedure in the meantime.
So you just have to go to Jump.trade.
Will it
If
be visible right now? So if I share my screen, or it's
you
yet to come up on the website?
you can go ahead and do that. So you can't
Oh,
buy
good.
it now. You need to wait for the pre-booking to open on 10th. But you
That's
can.
fine. I think anyone who wants to at least go and try it out. So at least if it is seen once on screen, it will be easier for that person. So what do I type in?
So Jump.trade. Yeah.
Hmm?
I
Okay.
know the last time he created an account. I'm not sure if you still remember which one he used to create.
I did. I have not been to that site after that. Ah, now I can see some interesting cars. Okay.
Yeah, so you can just click on sign up. If you remember the email, you can probably sign in. If not, you can sign up as new.
I'll have to sign up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
you basically have to give your details and stuff. Once you've done that, you
Mm-hmm.
can do it on, but I can show you how it looks like. So you can go back to the home page.
Okay.
So basically, you click on drops once you've signed up,
Got
and
it.
then it shows up the first option, which says Raddx
Oh.
NFTs.
Okay.
Click on that. That gets you the drop page, and then you can go ahead and basically fund your wallet,
Mm-hmm.
and you can load in money. And then if you go down, click on explore now and go down.
Uh-huh.
It shows you various NFT drops that are there.
Oh.
You do
This
the
one. This is the one
experience.
that you were talking about.
Yeah, this is where you buy the cars. So you get two Raddx car NFTs from this loot box.
Okay.
So $25 for one. If you buy five, you discounted it
Oh,
to
the
about one.
guaranteed one is here.
Yeah. So if you buy five, you get one guaranteed gift box. And then if you scroll down, it shows you the digital land box that is there.
Oh.
Yeah.
What does this say? Flipkart land for sale Polygon.
No, it's land for sale means that you can buy land from there. So it's
Okay.
basically like we are giving an example how Flipkart can buy
Got
land there and Polygon can buy land there and stuff.
got it. Got it.
And then if you scroll
Wow.
down, you would be able to see various cars that are in auction right now that you can actually buy during the drop. So you can auction for this particular car. So it's a vintage car. Like there will be only one of these. And
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and auction in this and participate. We're probably expecting this to go at much higher prices because it's an auction. And if you scroll down, we have something very interesting. I'm not sure if you,
Invincible class.
yeah,
Ooh.
this is
Wow. Okay.
inspired from your James Bond themed movies and stuff where you've seen cars go invisible, right? So probably things that we can experiment in digital world, not in physical world. So that's one of the reasons we brought
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely.
And
Superb.
then you have another car which is sort of like your
What
armored
was
car.
the this auction is will go on for 28 days, 14
This
hours. Is that so?
this will open up on 28 days, basically on April 5th. So
Oh.
this you can't pre-book because it's an auction, right? You can only buy
Correct.
the loot box and digital land
Correct.
box.
Correct. Correct. Battle car auction. Ooh.
So this is basically a car which is highly defensive. It protects you from any damage that is being done. So it's
Hmm.
basically your go-to car if an apocalypse happens. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, so this is about the five loot box plus one digital
What
land.
happens is that if you go ahead and buy one loot box and
Mm-hmm.
also one digital land box, we give you this NFT for $1. You can get one guaranteed NFT, which is highly rare for $1. So
Oh,
this is also part of the draw.
nice. This looks very interesting, and I must say that the designing is superb, superb,
Thank- Thanks a lot.
very nice. Cool. Let me just stop sharing my screen. I think the whole purpose of showing this was that first we tried and understood about uh, the base concepts of NFTs. Then we talked about how do I decide whether I should buy some NFT or not. We
Yeah.
discussed about digital lands. We discussed about the potential of earning some passive income through this as well. And
Yeah.
if any person would want to, invest his or her party fund amount in this specific drop, I can say. Then how to go about it, the hows of that, that is the reason why I thought of sharing my screen and showing it to everyone, so that it becomes easier. Once we have seen it, it becomes easier to actually go and check it out. So this Rajesh right now is saying we are not able to ask any questions at the moment as this is a completely new world. I totally understand, Rajesh. Even it was a new world for me. That is the reason why I've been asking some basic level questions to now.
I think it's a new world for everyone. We are also exploring this world, and everyone who enters is sort of like think that they moved to Mars, right? So I
True.
think we should keep on exploring this as much as possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. So anyone who wants to check this out, again, I'm going to put up the link of this website that I showed you right now in the description box. I'm also going to do it, this as a pinned comment. So
Yeah.
whenever you want to visit, it'll be very easy for you. Thanks a lot, Ram, for being patient and answering all my questions. Any closing thoughts? Yes, please.
So first of all, thanks again for having me here. I think last time when we spoke, I had a couple of friends of mine who said, "Hey, I follow Rachna. What were you
Ah,
doing there?" So it was
okay.
very interesting. Because a lot of people who are like, I know who are from the mainstream audience are not being into Web3 and Web2, I mean Web3 and crypto and all that. They
Yeah,
started seeing this and asked me questions about, hey, what is this new thing that you're doing and stuff. So uh, I'm glad, I'm sure that I'm going to have more people coming from this particular video. And
absolutely.
I think we need more and more mainstream audience getting into Web3. That's what makes this much more bigger and also much more accessible as well. So that's one of the reasons, our partnership with Flipkart and partnership with Twitter and all that really helps us, right? So bringing
True.
in mainstream audience is our idea, and talking here also helps me reach out to the mainstream audience. And so would love to have your audience explore what we do in Jump.trade. As he told, if they love the project, if they have seen what it is, and they can have their party fund parked here. So that's the idea. I'm going to use that term. I'm going to use that term a lot. So thanks for that, and it is good
Yeah,
talking
because
to you.
sometimes people are like not sure whether they would want to invest in asset classes which they don't understand through and through. But
Yeah,
then in the bull run, when they see that, oh my God, these many of, because I have seen many of my friends multiplying their money during
yeah.
the bull run in NFTs as well, and that is the time when they are like, oh my God, why didn't I put a small amount at least,
Before, yeah,
just test the waters,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then so that is the reason why I came up with this concept of party fund.
Great. Now, if you don't spend, you don't know, right? So people
Exactly.
should experiment with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool, cool.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Ram, for taking out time for our viewers. I'm sure they got to learn something new today. So did I. And thanks a lot once again.
Thanks, Rachna. See you around.
Yes.
Bye.
See you. Good night. Bye.